All right, here we go with day 23. Back home, uh, just got done with my meditation. It was crazy because on my ride home, it's about an hour and 45 minutes from my buddy's house. And I was thinking about a lot of the things I was going to talk about today. And then I totally forgot them all by the time I got here. So now it makes me like, but I guess it gives me an idea because it shows that you need to write these things down. You need to even no matter where you are, have something there. Like for me, a lot of my great ideas come when I'm in the car. But then I always think, well, I'll remember when I get home because it was a really good idea. And then here I am, and it's eluded me. I know it had something to do with like kind of just letting that light flow through you, that we all have that ability to have that light, and that we need to learn how to just embody it, be it, and feel it. And I feel like the more that we focus on that and the more that we practice it by doing these meditations and stuff, that it will grow. And the more, and I feel like I wanted to talk like I haven't always been and felt this way. I've always had, negative thoughts and, all those limiting beliefs and always questioned my abilities, always wondered if I was smart enough, you know, calm enough, had a good voice, had enough stuff to say. And a lot of the times that stopped me from doing it. And then when you don't do something, you don't get that growth. So at the end of the day, is that we all have something we have inside of us that other people might not see. And now that I'm speaking about it, that's what I was going to talk about. Like Trent Shelton's one of my favorite speakers, and he talks I'm kind of going to piggyback off of something he was saying with the lenses. Like when I look through these glasses, I can see, but if I take these off and give them to someone else, they'll put these on and they can't see. So, and the message of that is that God gave that vision to you. He didn't give it to somebody else. He gave it to you. So there's all of us have something like that, big or small. But if you have a vision and someone tells you not to do it, oh, that's not gonna work. Someone else tried that, it didn't work for them. And then, and I did this in the past because like sometimes I'd have ideas and I would mention it to a friend and they'd be kind of like, whatever. And then after that, I'd just say, okay, well, maybe it's not a good idea. Well, just because they kind of shun it off and act like it's not. Well, that vision wasn't given to them, it was given to you. So why let someone else change your vision for what you're capable of and what you're doing and what you want to do? Because they can't see it. And it also could be because they can't see their own because they're not looking for it. But at the end of the day, you got to look for what it is that's on the inside or that you do with passion. And like I said before, I was always told, oh, there's no money in psychology, there's no money in this, there's no money in that. So I kept trying to chase careers that there was money in. And then when people would ask me what you're doing, I'd tell them what I was doing and say that that's what I wanted to do when it really wasn't. I knew that it wasn't, but I just didn't feel comfortable saying it wasn't because I felt like I had to do something. I always felt like I had to chase a career or chase money or chase, all these things that was acceptable by society. You want to be a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, or, you know, um, financial advisor, like all these things that bring us money. Well, there's plenty of people that do everything. And if that's what you're doing, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying is that by me not chasing after my dream, my passion, which was learning how the mind works and how the body works, I did that on the side every time I was in school while I was doing, massage therapy, health and nutrition, sports medicine. What else did I do? Finally, I did psychology and philosophy, but then I wasn't let back into Central, so then I didn't get to go with it. And I finally ended up at Oakland and got a what is it called? Integrative studies degree, bachelor's degree, where you integrate the mind and the body and how they work together to, they feed off each other because they're not separate. Your mind affects your body and your body affects your mind. They coexist within you. So, you got to take care of both of them if you want to excel as a human being. So for me, that's what's always driven me, is figure out how this thing works, because there's always a way. If other people have lived a successful life or followed their dreams and their passions, well, there's a way for all of us to do it. And I feel like you gotta, no matter what anybody says, and again, if you are at that point where you have let it do, there's nothing wrong with it either, because I went through all that. I did let it stop me for years because I was afraid. And I thought, well, some people shut that down, so I just, put it on the back burner thinking it couldn't be done and looked for something else. But like again, now that I'm doing this, this is what I've been looking for the whole time. I just was afraid to let it out. So that's why I encourage everybody to do it. And it doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter how young you are. And that's the thing, is we let all these excuses stop us. I don't have enough time. I'm too young. I'm too old. My spouse won't support me. My family won't support me. We all have an excuse that'll stop us, no doubt. And I got too much going on in my life. I'm not smart enough. These things can all be overcome. You just got to push it. You got to make sacrifices, man. If you want to do something and you got to figure out how to do it, sometimes you got to make sacrifices. And I know that sucks, and I know that's hard at times, but sometimes you do, because sometimes you just need to focus your energy in the right direction. And sometimes, going out and doing the things that you used to do got you where you are. At least for me, I used to party and drink and do all that stuff all the time. I don't do that as much anymore because I don't like the way it makes me feel after. And if you like to do that, there's nothing wrong with that. Keep doing it. That's you. That's good. I have no problem with what anybody chooses to do with their lives. That's their life. You do you. It's just that for me, I learned that to be able to get this stuff done, I couldn't be hungover, and I like to feel better. And to be honest with you, a lot of the stuff of that was just a escape and a change of consciousness, and to have fun. And to me, like, my meditation is my change in consciousness now, because it takes you from the alpha beta. Now doing the other stuff kind of takes you there faster, and that's probably why we all do it anyway. But why not do something that has a better effect, which is meditation? And when I learned how to meditate, they said, don't be surprised, the more you meditate, the better choices you make, because it helps you make better choices. Because again, in the end, we're the sum total of all the choices we've made up until this point in our life. So if you want to be somewhere different, you're going to have to make different choices in the direction of where it is you want to go. And I choose to do this stuff. I choose to keep working. I choose to keep journaling. I've chosen to not give up, not listen to what people say. Now, I'm not saying that people don't give good advice and I don't listen to some people what they say. I'm just saying, is if someone tells me that I can't do this, it's not a good idea, I don't listen to that anymore. Because the only way you can find out is to do it and see what happens, and then go from there. And for me, it was just, I started with videos. I got a few that I haven't posted that were pretty terrible. And I've watched other people's videos of a lot of the groups I'm in, and they were pretty terrible in the beginning too. But then you look at them now and you're like, wow, they're really good. So it's a process. That's the thing, is then, and the more I do this, the more I focus and sit down and let things flow through me, the more that I get comfortable doing it. Now, there's still always that in the beginning, I kind of get a little anxious because I'm kind of getting started. It's like with anything in life, you get a little anxious, nervous. It's that energy, it's stagnant, there's no momentum. And then you kind of get here and you let the flow come and you start talking. And then all of a sudden it just keeps flowing. And then one idea leads to another, and then the energy comes through. And that was the thing, is that if you don't get up there and do it, or if you don't get somewhere and do it and see what happens. Because like I said before, I used to be so afraid of going into something I did never done before, because I was afraid of what might happen. And then in my mind, I went through all the negative stuff that could have happened. And now I'm starting to get to that point of, hey, just go and see what happens, because you never know. What if if I would have turned around on that first meditation retreat, I wouldn't be sitting here today. And everything in my body was telling me to go home. And then there was something inside me that said, no, push through this and go. And then by the end of the week, I felt different. And that's the thing, is even if this challenge, I didn't know when my coach challenged me to do it, I was like, I'm going to do it because she told me to, challenged me to do it. But in the beginning, I was like, man, I don't know how I'm going to do this. And I didn't know how I was going to do it. I still don't. I just sit down and come up with the ideas. And I don't, sometimes I don't even have the idea. Sometimes I just start freewheeling and then the ideas come. But if I didn't get on here and start freewheeling, if you don't get out there and do something, you're never going to see. And again, you have to remember is that failure is not bad, it's an experience. And then if you see something and it doesn't work, then it gives you an opportunity to observe it and see it and then make a change and do something different. Like Tony Robbins always said, if that doesn't work, try something else. If that doesn't work, try something else and keep trying. It's just most of the time in my life, I used to try something and it didn't work and then give up. Well, at least for a time being, I never gave up totally because here I am today. But there was time periods in my life where I'd go months and years. There was time periods where years I kind of was stagnant and didn't do a whole lot. So it's all about trying to not let those periods of time be so long. But if they are, also don't be so bad about it because I like to use Louise Hayes as a prime example. She was kind of, didn't really work odd jobs until her mid 40s, and then she started teaching what she had learned, and then she turned it into a book in her 50s, and then she started Hay House Publishing Company when she was 62, I think. So again, you're never too old to follow your dreams. And if you follow your dreams when you're young, that's great too. But don't compare yourself to somebody that's following their dreams, when they're really young and you didn't. There's nothing wrong with that. It's all our journeys of life. I mean, I had a friend who worked with a doctor who didn't even go to med school until he was in his 50s. So again, because he got like I think he got laid off and then cut from a job he was and he was like, I'm just going to go to school and became a doctor. And that's the thing is we always have that thing that we have to have it all figured out when we're young. I mean, if you do, that's great, but you don't have to have everything figured out all at once. It's a journey, it's a process, it's a step by step thing. And it's just that you never give up because you got to keep pushing and you got to keep the faith that no matter what, something better is coming because it is. If you put the work in and effort, it's not going to come to you sitting on the couch. It's not going to come to you not doing anything. You have to do something. You have to take some sort of action no matter what it is. Big or small, reading a book, watching a video, doing a meditation, anything. Any little thing is an action. It's just that sometimes you think you have to take at least I did. Like I thought the big actions, I was like, I don't know how to do all that. But then, slowly but surely I realized that you have to take the small ones that lead up to the big ones. And then some days you just get that like energy of breakthrough and you get that epiphany and then you're like, wow, and now I see what I was talking about. So again, if you don't see all the results overnight, that's okay. Just keep pushing because you never know when that next result's going to come. And just and God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, they're the ones that gave you the vision. So if someone else can't see your vision, don't stop because that vision wasn't meant for them, it was meant for you. So and if you don't see that vision yet, well, maybe it's because you haven't started looking for it yet. Because again, like I keep saying it, ask and you shall receive. Ask the questions to the universe. Put that stuff out there, write it down. And I tell you, you might not get the answers overnight. That thing behind me took 2 years, and it's written right there. And that was the one I talked about yesterday or the day before. And I wrote that 2 years ago. And all of a sudden, that's what I'm doing during this challenge. So it tells you that, and Tony and Dean and Matthew McConaughey, same stuff. They were talking about it in the inner circle thing I was watching the other day about how they wrote down some stuff and it came true. So if and that's the thing is anybody can do it. You don't have to be special to have this stuff done. You just have to do little things that most people aren't willing to do and keep at it no matter what happens. So that's my message for the day is keep at it and keep going after your vision. And if you don't know what it is, ask for it and it'll come to you. All right, bye.